So this is a video on integrated 2 math analysis, RFF number 4 for semester 1. And on problem number 1 here, okay, there is a spinner, and if you land on the positive number, you win that much money. If you land on a negative, you lose that amount of money, and we want to figure out the expected value. So let me just make this a little bigger. So the 6 is 90 out of 360, or 1/4. The 2 is also 1/4. The -2 is 45 degrees out of 360. We can reduce that, but I'm just going to keep that. And then I'm going to be taking 180 minus 45, and I get 135. So this is going to be 135 out of 360. And just so everyone understands how I got that, this was 180 minus 45, because this right here, if it's going to be half of a circle, so that's going to be 180. So now I am going to take the amount that we're getting for everything times the probability. So 1/4 times 6 plus 1/4 times 2. I'm gonna go minus for the negative, and that's gonna be 135 over 360 times 5. It was a -5, but I put the minus in front. And let me fit in the rest of this. The last one is a minus also. It's going to be -2 times the 45 over 360. Okay. And then I'm going to put that all in my calculator and see what I get. And I end up getting a -0.125 as my answer. So we're losing money, losing about 13 cents. Okay. On number 2, to find the x-intercepts, your y is going to be 0, so we're going to have 0 equal. And I'm going to factor this. And so what multiplies to a +4 and adds to -5? That is going to be a -1 and a -4. So one x-intercept is going to be 1, and the other x-intercept is going to be 4. Okay, on number 3, we have a ladder that makes 75-degree angle with a wall and the ground, okay? It says the base of the ladder is 5.0 feet. From the wall, how high up the wall does the ladder reach? So I am trying to find this. Let me make that a little thicker. Maybe I'll make it a little brighter too. So I'm trying to find this right here. That's what I'm trying to find. Okay, I'm going to call that y. Okay, and so when I'm doing this, from the 75 degrees, the y is opposite and the 5 is adjacent. So I'm going to do tangent of 75 is equal to y over 5. I'm going to multiply by 5, so I get 5 tangent of 75. And I'm going to put that in my calculator, making sure it's in degrees. And 5 tangent of 75, I end up with 18.66 for my y, and this is feet. Okay, on number 4, they want us to use the quadratic formula. And to make sure you understand that the quadratic formula is used if, so it's if ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, then x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, so you need it to equal 0 first, which in this case it does. So now I'm going to plug everything in. So I'm going to have x equal, my b is negative 3. I need it to be negative b, meaning opposite, so it's going to be a positive 3, plus or minus the square root. And I want to put that negative 3 in parentheses before I square it. So it's a negative 3 squared plus 4 times my a, which is negative 4, and my c, which is 2, all over 2 times negative 4. So I am going to work this out in my calculator, see what that is. So basically 9 minus 4, it's a negative 3 squared, but that's going to be a 9 minus 4 times negative 4 times 2, I end up with 41. So this is going to equal 3 plus or minus the square root of 41, which you cannot clean that up, over negative 8. Okay, now if this is multiple choice test and you don't see it, which final will be, a lot of times the negative is, they don't like it to be on bottom, so they might move it on top, making it all opposite. So it's going to be a negative 3 on top, then plus or minus your root 41 all over 8. These are the same. This one has negative on top, and this one has the negative on bottom. Okay. Let's see. Number 5. Okay, so on number 5, we have a parallelogram. We want the area of it, and the area is always base times your perpendicular height. So I'm going to be taking 8 times the 4. So this area, base times height, so 8 times 4, which is 32. That is your answer. On number 6, again, this is a perfect square equation. I'm going to square root both sides. I'm going to get x plus 5 equals plus or minus 7. I'm going to subtract my 5, and I get negative 5 plus or minus 7. And I'm going to get 2 answers here. Negative 5 plus 7 is 2, and negative 5 minus 7 is negative 12. And so those are our 2 answers. On 7, we've had a lot of these. These are your x-intercepts. So I know it's going to be y equal a. You need to always worry about the stretch. The negative 4 comes from x plus 4, because negative 4 makes that 0. The 2 comes from x minus 2, because positive 2 makes that 0. And then I am going to use any point up here, but this one, the y-intercept, is probably the nicest to use. So negative 8 is equal to a times 0 plus 4 times 0 minus 2. So I end up getting negative 8 is equal to negative 8a. So I got a is equal to 1 again. Not always the case. We've been getting that lately, but that does not always happen. You definitely want to check. So now I'm going to be taking this, and I'm going to be working this out. And so I'm basically going to be taking 4 and negative 2 and adding it. So when I add those, I get a positive 2, so positive 2x. And then I'm going to be taking the 4 and negative 2 and multiplying them, and I get a negative 8. And that's your equation. Number 8, solving. I'm going to see if it's factorable, and if it's not, then I probably would not choose to do completing the square myself personally if there's a number in front of the x squared, or if your x was odd and you got both in this case, so definitely I would not choose that. If it's not factorable, quadratic formula, but I'm feeling like this is factorable, just looking at the numbers. Okay, So I'm going to have a 3x squared and a negative 4. So that multiplies to a negative 12x squared. And it needs to add to this x. Okay. And that's going to be a 4x and a negative 3x. So I have a 4x and a negative 3x. And then I want to find the outside, which is going to be, let's see, my 3 is going to have to go here, 3x and x. 3x times a negative 1, x times 4. So I get 3x plus 4, x minus 1 equals 0. I solve, setting each of those to 0. For the first parenthesis, it's going to be, I would be subtracting 4 dividing by 3. The next one I would be adding 1, so x equals 1. Those are my two x-intercepts. Okay, on 9. A shoebox contains 25 slips of paper with the numbers 1 through 25 on them. Was probably selecting an odd number of paper or the number 7 on it. Okay, so I'm going to do a 5 by 5 box. Hold on. And I'm going to write my numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'll pause this and I'll write them out so you don't have to suffer through me writing. Okay, so I filled that out. So I did a 5 by 5 so I could just easily do the numbers 1 through 25. And then I'm going to be shading the ones that we care about, which are odd numbered. So let me do all my odds. And then I also want a 7, but 7 you'll see is already shaded, so I don't need to shade it again. So if I count, let's see, if I count, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I have 13 out of 25, and that's going to be my probability. Because OR means I want all the ways I can get an odd, and I want all the ways I can get a 7, and the 7 was already included in the odds, so it's going to be 13 out of 25. On number 10, sorry, that was 9. I'm going to complete the square, so I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to take my b, which is 6, and divide it by 2, which gives me 3. I am then going to square that, which is 9, and that's what goes here. On 11, okay, so this is when we had that rat and it was trying to go through a maze, and we're trying to figure out the probability of it. So Romeo the rat is trying to learn the new maze at the right. If he randomly chooses a path each time, what time that the path forks, which room is he most likely to walk into? Okay, so just starting here and here, we have a 1/2 and a 1/2. And then from here, we've got 1, 2, 3 different things. So each of these is a 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. Okay, I'm just going to do this one in a different color. So from here, I've got 1, 2. So that's going to be a 1/2 and a 1/2. And from here, I have 2, 1, 2. So that's another 1/2 and 1/2. Okay, so which room is he more likely to go into? So for A, okay, let me write all my A's. Okay, so A. So this is going to be A. I'll put bright blue dots here. This is going to be A. Okay, so that is going to be, this is a 1/6. because 1/2 times 1/3. This is also a 1/6. So my A is going to be 1/6 plus 1/6 or 2/6, which is 1/3. Now let's take a look at my B. So B, I've got here and here. And so this is going to be, I'm going to write it in black. I did kind of try to do it in yellow, but I'm going to write it in black here. So this is going to be a 1/2 times a 1/2, which is a 1/6. This one right here that I just put the black dot in is a 1/2 times a 1/2 times a 1/3, which is, no, sorry, not the 1/3, 1/2. So it's a 1/2, I'll circle them and then I'm going to uncircle them. Okay, so it's a 1/2, 1/2, 1/2, which is a 1/8. Okay, get rid of that. And then my C, and let's see, I'll do C in red. So this is going to take me to C, and this is going to take me to C. So the bottom one is going to be a 1/4 because it's a 1/2 times a 1/2. The one that ends in a teal color is a 1/2, 1/2, 1/2, so 1/8. So I did not write my B. My B is 1/6 plus 1/8. Okay, and I'm going to get a common denominator. It's going to be 24, so that's going to be a 4 and a 3 when I get a common denominator, so 7/24. This one would clean up to 8/24. And then my C is a 1/8 and a 1/4. So that is going to be 1 plus 2/8 or 3/8. Now, if I make that into 24ths, that's going to be a 9/24. So which one is he more likely to walk into? C. So on 12, it says in the figure below, what is the relationship between angle 1 and angle 2? Angle 1 and angle 2 are congruent. And why? Because they're alternate interior angles. So when I have parallel lines cut by a transversal, alternate interior angles are congruent. I'm going to go through and do these ones. B. Again, we're looking at angle 1 and 2. Complementary, supplementary, or congruent. So angle 1 and 2. 1 and 2. So for this one, if these are parallel lines, then these are going to be supplementary. Okay, so I think they wanted to put the parallel lines there. If these do not have parallel lines, then there is no relationship between 1 and 2. So I'm just going to put a little note. Forgot parallel symbol. Okay. On C, 1 and 2, since this is 90 degrees here, these are complementary. They add to 90 degrees. Okay, so now let's see, I'm going to come over here and we'll take a look at number 13. Okay, so are the triangles congruent? And justify. So we have this line that is congruent, and the reason for that is I'm just going to put the color code reflexive. Okay. And then we know that this line and this line are parallel. So this angle and this angle are the same. So we also have alternate interior angles. Then we also have the given. They gave us this right here and this right here, and that again was given. Now, looking at the triangle, what do we have here? We have angle, angle, side, angle, angle, side, congruence. On B, okay, we have this line, okay, and that again is reflexive. We have this and this, that was given. And then we do know that this is a right triangle, both of these. So this is going to be hypotenuse leg congruency. Okay, and let me come over here. And we'll talk about 14 and 15. So in this one, find the longest and shortest lengths possible for AC. So if we have a side 7 and 16, we're going to take 16 minus 7, which is 9. And we're going to take 16 plus 7, which is 23. And so it has to be in between 9 and 23. It cannot equal 9. It cannot equal 23. The equation for this. So looking at this, it doesn't look like it actually crosses the y nicely. This looks like a nice point. And I think this looks like a nice point. So let me see here. So if I'm going from here to here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 here. Going across, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is going to be 6. So my slope is going to be 4 over 6 or 2/3. So I know it's going to be y equal 2/3 x plus b. And again, my y-intercept's not that nice, but I can take a look at a point, and it looks like I've got this point right here at, let me make it a little darker, at 4, 0. So I'm going to put this point 4, 0 in. So I'm going to get 0 is equal to 2/3 times 4 plus b. So I get 0 is equal to 8/3 plus b. So negative 8/3 is my b. So then my equation is going to be y equal 2/3 x minus 8/3. And that is it for review number 4.